But first, if you thought net zero was an absolutely crazy idea, well, wait until you hear what Twiggy Forrest's latest green fantasy is. The Australian billionaire reckons net zero is for wimps. He wants what he's calling real zero, which calls for a complete ban on all fossil fuels from 2040. He told the Sydney Morning Herald today, "I believe net zero is an effing con. Real zero is serious. Just stop burning fossil fuels. You'll get rid of climate change because so much swings off that, and you'll lower your cost of living and increase your standard of living." And by the way, every politician knows that's what they're there for. This is the kind of statement that would make even Adam Bant blush. Fossil fuels gone completely within just 15 years, running the whole world off breezy days and sunbeams. The problem, of course, Liz and Caleb, is that to make wind turbines and solar panels, you actually need fossil fuels. This is not real zero. This is just real stupid.
I mean, I can't believe it. He's cracked the code. 8 billion people on the face of the planet. And the only person who's thought, yes, the answer here is to just turn off all the fossil fuels is Twiggy Forrest. He's worked it out. Well done, Twiggy. There may well be a reason that you're the only bloke who's running around talking about real zero, because it would do the exact opposite of what you say. I mean, he says it would have a decreased cost of living. I mean, where on earth does he get that from? Yes, we'll turn off all the coal and we'll turn off all the gas, and then the lights won't be able to turn. Actually, he's right. Sorry, I've worked out. He is right. There will be a lower cost of living because you won't be able to turn the lights on because there won't be enough power, and so your power bills will go down dramatically. That's the only way I can possibly see, and your gas bill, of course, because that'll be outlawed too. It's the only way I can possibly see that he could argue that this would result in a reduced cost of living. And the idea that it would just, magically save the planet overnight. Everyone's got to buy an electric car. How does that go for your cost of living, etc., etc.? It's all good and well when you're one of the richest blokes in Australia to run around saying, well, just turn off the fossil fuels and that'll fix the world. You can well afford it, but the rest of us can't. That's always been the problem with net zero, let alone real zero, which he says. But he reckons this is great for business. I mean, he says everyone else is pulling out of these renewable projects and green hydrogen, which he has also pulled out of, by the way. He was all gung-ho about it. But he says, this is great. No one else is doing it, so I'm just hoovering up all the business and making lots of money. I mean, if you're making money, good for you. But you can't tell me that the rest of us are going to be better off with real zero.
And how does he figure that that could be remotely possible by 2040 when we're failing every single 2030 target anyone set here in Australia, with all the experts, especially the energy companies, up in arms saying, look, we're just not going to get there, okay? It's not feasible. Can someone remind this guy? I appreciate the passion. I appreciate that he had a near-death experience in 2016 in which he had his road to Damascus experience and emerged from that this green zealot. But can someone remind him Australia is responsible for 1.3% of global emissions? So it really doesn't matter what we do, even if we do go back to living in caves. And for as long as Trump is in office, which is going to be a while yet, and America, one of the top 3 emitters in the world, isn't participating in the Paris Accords. We also know China and India, the top 2 biggest emitters, could not give a flying rip about emissions. All of this is porky pies. All of this is absolute nonsense. Like I say, appreciate the guy's passion. And maybe if I owned a company that was worth $50 billion, I too could have the time and passion to pour into a pet project. But when you're talking about the guy that has his fingers in this many Australian pies and the real world consequences of what he's talking about, it's just laughable.
And this business about just turn off the fossil fuels, don't use them at all. And there's an idea built into that most people want to turn off the fossil fuels, that they'd be quite happy to do away with it. But we see time and again that that's simply not the case. I mean, you look at electric vehicles, for instance, which, of course, the Labor Party told us before they won the election in 2022 we're going to make up 89% of all new vehicle sales by 2030. The Federal Transport Department's now revised that back to 27%, which is a hell of a discrepancy. But at the end of March, the federal government took off the subsidy that they were applying to plug-in hybrid vehicles. And that had actually been one of the fastest growing markets of electric vehicles. And all of a sudden, the sales of plug-in hybrids halved last month in April because the subsidy doesn't exist anymore. So people, when they're given the choice without any government interference, will continue to buy the product that uses fossil fuels. There's no great desire amongst people to walk away from fossil fuels. They'll only do it if the government gives them a dirty wad of cash in their hand in order to do so.
Well, I'll tell you who won't walk away from fossil fuels. You mentioned them, Liz, is the Chinese. So can you imagine within 15 years, no fossil fuels used in Australia, but the Chinese, meanwhile, are going from strength to strength. Talk about a way to not only bankrupt your country, but to make it completely defenceless. But Twiggy going from net zero to real zero, you mentioned green hydrogen. He believed that would be a super fuel of the future, but he's failed with that. This is typical of those who espouse the green dream. The more it fails, the harder they double down. You know, the Albanese government's answer to the increasing cost of electricity is more renewables. So the worse it gets, the more they double down on their mistakes. That's exactly what Twiggy is doing, but I guess he can afford to, so good luck to him.
Well, can he afford to? Because we know that Trump is looking to ban those green energy tax credits that Biden came up with. He says that's bogus. It just allows companies to keep burning fossil fuels while patting themselves on the back for saving the planet and doing such a great job. He reckons he's just going to, I don't know, sweet talk Trump around, but I do not see that happening by the president who got elected on a drill baby drill platform, and he means business.